Hey. Hello, everybody. This is Brandino from the Big House with DJ Blado. We have a special guest, the famous Brandon Rose. Hopefully you enjoy it. Keep listening, and we'll have some more for you. So, welcome, Brandon, to the Big House.
The Big House. What's up? Glad to be here.
So, Brandon, I first met him at about 9 years old at Bass Player Live, and he was kind of scared to come over and talk to me. And it was all good. I guess a lot of people are scared to come over and talk to me. But anyway, I've been following him. He's great. Graduated from, Michigan State, right?
Michigan State. Yes,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you going for your master's? Or?
I just finished my
You
master's.
finished your master's.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm done.
He's up and running already, controlling Detroit, and he's multi-talented, plays everything. Why don't you just kind of tell us your experience at school and some of the new projects that you're doing or upcoming projects, so we can kind of put it out there and give you some love
Yeah.
and all that. So you can take it away, Brandon.
Sweet. So I went to Michigan State University in the great city of East Lansing, Michigan.
Okay, Lansing. Okay.
I did my undergrad there, and I did my master's there as well. Studied jazz studies, and I started playing electric bass when I was 5, and when it came time to start looking for schools, I wasn't even looking at music schools. I was looking at like Xavier, like Temple, but all for like computer science or like business, which made no sense because I don't do anything with computers unless I'm producing. Like that's it. But one of my mentors, Kerry Lacey, he told me to check out Michigan State. And at the time, I was a Michigan fan, University of Michigan Wolverines fan.
Right.
So I'm thinking, I'm in the headspace like, I'm not going to Michigan State. Like I'm not going to the enemy's school.
Okay.
But he told me, Rodney Whitaker, who's at Michigan State,
right?
He's the bass professor and the director of jazz studies. He said, it could be a real great opportunity for you. So we set up a meeting. I met with Rodney, and he told me they would love to have me, but I would have to learn how to play upright bass. So up until that point, I was only playing electric in church, smooth jazz scene, or like some R&B scenes here and there. One of my like biggest inspirations is Marcus Miller.
Yeah.
So I would watch videos of Marcus explaining how he improvises, and Marcus he'll say a lot of times that he wants the bass to be present, but what often happens with like a lot of bass players when they start playing, they want to play everything. Like they want to play all the ideas, all the chops, like put it in there. And then just language wise, I think just from studying bebop and hard bop, like listening to Bird, I love Lee Morgan, and I love Miles Davis as well, because Miles uses a lot of space when he plays.
Oh, yeah.
And he may not play like a lot of language, like people might not consider him the most literate improviser, but in terms of space, in terms of playing what the music requires in that moment,
And the sound.
his
sound.
He has it. So
Yeah.
I kind of use that just with my bebop knowledge as well. How can I add to what's happening musically and not overdo it?
Right. And so you started upright around 18, 19 years old. Then.
Yeah, 18. I had like, there was this bass bash thing that was happening at the University of Michigan actually with Bob Hurst.
Right.
He would run that.
Robert Hurst, okay.
And I would go there, and I think I had went there maybe twice. One year I played only electric there, and the next year, since I knew what the vibe was now, I had like an upright that I was just tickling. So I wasn't really taking it serious. But when I had that meeting with Prof. Whitaker, he was like, yeah, you will have to learn this instrument.
Right.
And I didn't know that it wasn't just me learning the instrument, but it was learning a whole new genre too.
Right.
Because up to that point, I wasn't even a fan of jazz. And it took me my first 3 years of college to even lock in on, okay, what is jazz? And can I see myself
Playing
contribute?
it.
Yeah, can I see myself in it? So I would be in classes, and I kick myself to this day because the freshman year you have a class called jazz styles and analysis.
Okay.
And Prof Whitaker teaches it.
Okay.
And he's just a walking encyclopedia. So he's got all these stories, and I was in class kind of like dozing off, like not really paying attention. But once I started appreciating jazz more, I thought back to that class, and I'm like, dang, like I really missed out on a lot of stuff. But thankfully, when I went back for my master's, I was a TA for
Yeah.
the class.
Okay.
So I got to sit in
Right.
and hear all the stories again, and it has a different, meaning to it now. But yeah, I started playing upright my freshman year of college, and I was learning this new instrument. I was learning a new genre of music, a new culture, really. And I kind of just stuck with it. And it took a lot out of me because I was used to just having so much attention and like notoriety with being a young electric bassist. And, even where I met you, like coming to bass player, there weren't a lot of, I know now like the NAMM show is kind of like the hub of young musicians. But I think when me, and even Jason and some other
Leopold.
we were kind of like the first ones of like a young
generation that we're trying to embrace, because he had asked me about upright. Jason did. I said, when you're ready to buy it, just call me. You know, and all that. So, but I had seen some of the stuff. I think that either that you were in class or you were with the big band at Lincoln Center.
Oh yeah,
with Marcellus.
Yeah, we had a. It was
Yeah.
the Jack Rudin competition. We went there and we won. Actually, I think the second year that we went, which says a lot about Michigan State, because we beat Juilliard, we beat Manhattan School of Music.
Detroit took over New York.
We took over, and not only in the competition, but now there's just so many cats from Detroit and New York now, and a lot of people that I went to school with at Michigan State, they're in
Detroit.
New York.
They're in New York.
Yeah, so
we're
making some noise.
Yeah, in because Kamasi Washington, I don't know if you know who he is. Him and his whole crew, they're all like probably 3 or 4 generations behind me, because I know Kamasi's father. We're around the same age. And their whole thing was they made the young generation appreciate jazz and acoustic instruments again. The thing is that it's good that you guys embracing, because I started playing upright when I left high school, going to college. And the reason why I went on the road, because they said, well, you'll never learn it unless you actually play it every day. So when I went on the Tommy Dorsey band, it was only really to get my upright chops. I playing upright and playing it every day for 4.5 hours, 5 hours a night.
Yeah.
By the time I came back, my hands were acclimated to that instrument, and all that. So it's good to see that you kids are finally seeing the other side of the bass world, and carrying the torch.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
it's a whole different instrument. It's a whole scenario.
And that was a rude awakening for me, like my first 2 years at Michigan State, because like I said, I was just electric kind of came easy.
Yeah.
And this was finally something where I felt like I had to work at it to like really get it going. And my first couple of lessons, I was still using like the electric bass fingering,
is like
spacing, like everything. And Prof Whitaker was like, yeah, man, like you got to treat it like a different instrument. I started seeing like all of my friends kind of, advancing, and it was tough because, like I said, to go from playing something that comes so naturally to now you're in a position where like you see people like getting it and grasping the concepts at a faster pace than you're able to, because they've been playing the instrument longer than
you.
Exactly. So
Right.
yeah, that was a rude awakening.
Did you study arco with the bow too? Okay,
Yeah,
so you got
we
that
would do like Bach
sonatas and all that. Okay,
yeah.
so are you a German or French bow?
Oh, I'm German.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't do French.
okay,
It hurts my hands.
Well, we have some similarities, not only with the
You
name.
use German?
Yeah. Because I had an old teacher, Nat Gangursky, that controlled this town back in the day. So what about this rap thing, man? Because my peoples is Ty Dolla $ign.
Really?
Yeah, that's some of my peoples. And his daddy Tyrone Tyrone, I'm talking about you, bro. I was thinking, I don't know what's on, because I know he's got his label. I know he signed it. But can you tell the people about your other, because you're a phenomenal bass player, because once we can get that song that we wrote together with our other co-partner in crime, hello, Brandon Coleman. I'm here with your other friend, Brandon Rose. Anybody that I played that for, they just go, what is this?
That was the first piece of music you showed me when I first started working with you, man.
Really?
And that was
is
you.
This guy?
You even told me, what did you do? And I go, I did some new shit that you guys don't know about. And then you go, oh, shit. Wait. And I said, let me see. He went to school. Oh, yeah. What did you do? We raised the tempo up to kind of really scare everybody. And then we modulated the solo, and blah, blah, blah. It was all that. They all scared. He said, man, who is this guy? Where is he from? And how did he do that? I said, don't ask me. Ask him.
Hey.
You scared a lot of people.
Uh-oh.
I was just blown away by the phrasing, because when I think bass player, I think, tasty bass lines, like you got to hold it down, but the phrasing and
It's like a horn.
Exactly.
It was a horn player. That's what I asked him. I said, I need a saxophone player
exactly.
on bass.
Yeah.
He says, I can do that. I said, good, because I've seen all this other stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
So if this can't be no problem to you, kind of tell us about, because I'm highly impressed with your versatility and the fact that all the stuff I've seen with you rapping and singing, is that something that you've been doing all the time, or something that you had developed later on?
I think so. I started rapping. So I sung actually when I was
A kid.
A kid, yeah.
Okay.
I did I led a song for the kids choir at my church. I was just on the stage, like very scared. I was like, everybody clap your hands. Don't you want to clap your hands? I'm so happy. Like, very scared. But I remember just always, like, wanting to be like Michael Jackson, or wanting to be like Chris Brown.
Okay.
Or Trey Songz. Like,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that was always in my head.
That was part of your vocabulary.
1,000%.
Okay.
And there was a period where I was making videos just so I could get used to hearing my voice.
Right.
Because I hated, like, when I would record something.
You would
and then
hate
I
how
listen-
you sound.
Yeah, I'm like,
Okay.
if that's how I sound, and I get why my dad said stop making all that noise. But I just developed an ear for, like, my voice and what I wanted to sound like. And then I wasn't really singing seriously. And then I kind of transitioned to rapping with one of my homeboys in middle school. We call him ELD. It's my boy Ethan Downing.
Okay.
We would have like rap battles. He would destroy everybody. And what was crazy about E, he would never write anything. Like everything was just
in memory. Yeah.
Everything was off the dome. So I became kind of just like his hype man. Like that was my best friend. And there was a talent show at my high school, Chippewa Valley, Clinton Township, represent CTP, you know what's up. But there was a talent show, and E was like, yo, bro, like, we should do this talent show. Like, just maybe, like, you can write something. I'm a freestyle, but, just, like, hype me up. And I remember I was writing down some rhymes. And at that point, I was just trying to find words that rhyme. Like, I wasn't really aware of what I was doing. So I was just really hyping up E. And then it got to my part, and I rapped it, and the crowd went crazy. And I was like, oh, okay. And then me and E was like, yeah, bro, we should do this again. So we just kept working on, like, we would find beats on YouTube and just write to it and just goof around, not thinking anything of it. And then I started messing around with production around my senior year because he wanted to start recording. That's how I started dabbling with production, because I was trying to just find some stuff that me and E could write to, so we wouldn't have to keep going on YouTube, finding these beats and not knowing how to, really use it or put music out.
Right.
So when I got to college, that's when I was just dabbling. Like, I spent so much time in my dorm room, not doing homework, not studying, sometimes skipping class, just making beats. And I was just writing. And I remember I had a girlfriend at the time in college. She was my point person. I would show her everything that I was working on just to see, like, am I tripping or do people actually rock with this?
Yeah.
And she rocked with it. all of her friends rocked with it, and she was older than me, so her friends were like seniors in college. I'm a freshman, so I just started seeing like, okay, like I got something with this, and that's when I released my first song, Happy Days, which was like, I listen to it now and I'm like, bro, you should not have released that. Like, the message is cool, but the production, like, I'm just like, ew. But I kept sticking with it, and there was open mic nights, so I started going to open mic nights at Michigan State, and I would perform. I was getting comfortable being in front of people.
Doing rapping instead of playing bass.
Exactly.
Or
And-
singing, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was different because I'm so used to kind of hiding behind the bass
Yep.
that now it's like I'm super vulnerable in this moment because I don't have anything to hide from. Like, this is my voice. Like,
Yeah.
you're hearing me. So I'm missing a big story. So when I really, really said, okay, I think I got something with this for real, I did a challenge on Twitter,
Okay.
the So Gone challenge.
Okay.
And I was talking about like being with this girl and how I'm moving to college, and but I still want this to work, and like after all this time we spend together, like that we spend apart, like we'll be smooth, we'll be better for each other. And it blew up. Like it took my Twitter to almost like 10K followers, and then somehow my account got hacked. So I lost all my followers. I had to start over on Twitter. So that's why I don't really mess with Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. But
Yeah.
that video blowing up,
Yeah.
that's like what got me, okay, like I can actually
Do this.
Like, this isn't like one of those pipe dreams where it's like, oh yeah, I'm like everybody else, I want to be a rapper. Like, that's what boosted me into starting to produce and make my own music. And that's when I started finding more challenges on Instagram or TikTok, just posting a lot, and it sparked the attention of some people out here. This producer contacted me, and I didn't think anything of it because I'm like, there was no blue check, there was no nothing. I think he had maybe like a couple thousand followers, and he hit me up. He's like, yo, man, like, I want to work with you, yada, yada, yada. Next thing you know, I'm flying out to LA. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm at his crib in Burbank, and we started working on some music. And in a matter of like 5 days, I think we had 6 songs that were just like
Done.
hits. Yeah, like bangers.
Okay.
And then I flew out again, and we did like a little boot camp. So I was just in the studio writing like every day, or we're talking about concepts, or like, how can I dig deeper? And it really pulled out a side of me that I didn't know was there.
Yeah.
And something that I'm still discovering too, like, what is my underlining meaning behind my music? Because I don't want to just be saying words that rhyme. Like, there should be substance. I think we have enough of that in the industry now, where it's just a lot of like mumble rap. And that's no shade. Like, there's a time and a place for all of it. And I know people rock with it, but I want people to listen
You want to deliver a message.
Yeah, of course.
Except just some.
Yeah.
Except somebody with lip service.
Exactly.
okay.
So, yeah, started doing that, and then I started working on my own stuff separately with my producer back home, Wyatt.
Okay.
And we just released a song, Getaway, all streaming platforms. And I started dabbling with singer-songwriter type of vibes because I was
Right.
working with this vocalist back home, Leah Catalo. We would work together, and I started seeing like, oh, like I actually got a pen. Like, my pen game is crazy. Like, I can write some stuff because I was in the headspace with her of trying to be the producer because I saw what she was doing. I'm like, yo, let me help. But what ended up coming out of that was I was discovering another sound that fits me.
Right.
Like, and I got a song out from that called Tears of Heartbreak. That's out as well. And it's different. It's not like hip hop. It's not R&B. It's more in like the alternative vein. But
So,
yeah.
So you've released what, 2 or 3 different songs?
I've released a lot of music. I've released my album Transition. So that's kind of like there's some R&B vibes in there. There's some hip hop, gospel, kind of smooth jazz-ish vibes. I also released exclusively my project Black Roller Coaster. That's kind of a culmination of a whole bunch of things like pop, hip hop, jazz, like straight ahead. And that's, you can only get that at danberville.company.com. It's exclusive. And then, but recently I've been releasing more of like R&B, alternative R&B or hip hop. So far I've released 2 songs in that headspace, and I got more in the vault that I'm planning on releasing.
So, which style of all these different styles that you have talked about, which one has got the most?
Love.
Yeah.
I say, just based off of what I've released, the one that gets the most love is like the alternative, popish R&B vibe, which would be Tears of Heartbreak. I had like so many people hit me up about that. Like, we love this sound, like what you did with the vocals. Because I was experiencing what I could do with my voice and using my voice as an instrument. So
Right.
I was listening to Masego, and I liked how Masego, in a lot of his stuff, he has like this real atmospheric kind of pads happening, but it's not synths, it's his vocals.
Well, right.
So I use that concept in Tears of Heartbreak, and there's a section during the chorus where it's like, it like leading up to that, I say, if you leave me broken in this room, then I'll be crying. And I took the idea of crying and put that into like some ooze.
Yeah.
And I harmonized the ooze with a whole bunch of vocal stacks and put like a crazy reverb on it and some delays. I had my boy Samuel Peters do the co-production and sound engineering for that. So it turned out dope, and the love that I got from that is incredible. But the only thing is, with that type of vibe, I'm still trying to figure out how to perform it live, because there's a lot of production nuances. So usually what I do, because my band Soul Therapy, I use typically like a 6-piece where I'll have trumpet or a trombone and a saxophone, keys, guitar, bass, drums, and vocals by me. So I'll try and put the like the background vocals in the horns.
Yeah. Okay.
And make it happen like that. But it still doesn't bring like the energy that you get from listening to the record to transfer, you know.
Well, always live and recordings two
different,
things,
yeah,
because there's a group of kids that I've been dealing with for a long time, Black Nile, 2 brothers. And the bass player, Lawrence, was my student. And I started with, and his brother, Aaron, was a saxophone player. And basically, when they were trying to do music together and all that, I said, if you're going to do this live, you're going to have backing tracks. You might not be able, they'll hire you 2, but they're not going to hire a whole band.
Yeah.
Because everything, especially with the pandemic, everything was cut, you know, everybody's slicing, you know, cutting the fat. They basically did that, and they started taking off. And when they started doing shows, until they had enough money to have a band, basically the keyboard player, they would either have backing tracks behind them that they're playing to, or the sounds that they had, they would give it to the keyboard player or have it pre-programmed.
Yeah.
So that basically those sounds that they wanted to have live could actually be done live with the guys in the band. And even some of the older bands, they do that. They'll just have the drummer with a headphone. He'll be with a click or whatever, hear the whole thing. And basically you vibe off with the drummer, and the drummer's basically being dictated by Live or by Ableton or whatever else they've set up. Until you have enough money to really have your production and do your show. You know, it's like versus having a trio or a quartet or having a big band. What kind of budget do you have to pay for the performance?
Exactly.
It's that kind of scenario. So is there anything that you want to tell the people you have learned in your journey right now of 25 years of playing, being a musician, artist, and, you know, trying to make your dent in the music business? Is there any words of wisdom that you can tell people that are younger than you?
I would say, if this is something that you want to do, if you want to pursue music, whether you want to be a composer, producer, or an artist, or maybe a sideman, lock in on what you want to do. because depending on when you start, there's going to be a lot of people in your ear telling you visions that they have for you. But ultimately, you're the only person that is going to be able to execute whatever it is you want to do. So you want to make sure that what you're working towards and what you are executing is something that you envision for yourself, and it's not what other people are telling you or suggesting would be a good fit for you. And with that, be ready. Don't just like be lazy, and don't kick your feet, don't drag your feet trying to get everything together. Like, be as ready, be as prompt as you can be, because you don't want to miss out on your opportunity when it finally comes. I just learned this one today. I had somebody, I was trying to get an aesthetic for my Instagram page, and I had somebody that I recently met. He reached out and he was like, hey man, like, you know, I was checking out your Instagram, and you know, I usually I won't do this, but since we hung out, and you're so-and-so's boy, like, you need to make sure your Instagram portrays who you are, because in this world that we live in now with social media, your social media accounts is really your business card. So he said that he was going through my page, and he really didn't get a sense of
Who you were.
who I was.
Right.
So he said it's really important that you do that, especially in the industry. People move quick, so they don't want to like find somebody that maybe somebody told them, oh, you should check this person out. They don't want to have to scroll and search for the best content. So whatever content you're putting out, whatever is the best, have that pinned to your profile, like have everything accessible so that you're ready. Like, because you don't know who's watching your content. You don't know who is talking to somebody that you want to work with, and they might check out your page real briefly. And if they only have like 2 seconds to check your page out, and they don't get any sense of who you are,
they go to the next one.
They go to the next one. So your opportunity is gone. Mm-hmm. So that was a lesson that I literally learned that today. Like, that all happened today. I met this dude 2 days ago, and he just went to my page today and told me, like, you know. So whatever you're doing, whatever you're working towards, just put as much effort and energy into making sure you are ready. And don't get in the mindset of, oh, maybe I'm not good enough yet, or maybe I'm not ready. Maybe this opportunity is too big for me. That's no such thing. No such thing. If people are looking to work with you, if people are talking about you, there's some interest already in what you can bring to the table. So you want to make sure you're putting yourself in the best position possible. When that opportunity comes, you can just go with it.
This is Brandino and Blado. We're about to sign off, and we're thankful for Brandon Rose stopping in from his busy schedule that he has in LA to visit us and give some of his knowledge that he's learned at a young age. So anyway, this is Brandino. Take it away, Blado.
Hey, thanks for stopping by the big house. We'll catch you next time.